Have you ever been right at the edge of a steep cliff, your heart beating fast as you look down? That intense feeling is fear. It's strong, real, and can make you freeze up. What if I told you that you could take that fear and turn it into something that helps you tackle big challenges? In this video, we're going to show you how to do just that. By the end, you won't just understand what fear is. You'll learn straightforward ways to manage it and change your life in amazing ways. Understanding fear. Let's start by breaking down what fear really means from the perspective of Stoicism. Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy that tells us fear is more than just a feeling. It's our reaction to what we think is a threat. The important thing to note here is that these threats are often just in our minds. Stoics teach that if we understand how our thoughts create feelings like fear, we can learn to control them. It's similar to being the captain of your ship during a storm. Even though the waves are huge and scary, you have the control to steer. Now, let's look at the first way to overcome fear. The Stoics suggest practicing what's called Premeditatio Malorum, which means thinking ahead about possible bad outcomes. This sounds tough, but it's really about mentally preparing for the worst. Picture the thing you're most afraid of happening. Experience that fear. Then, start to think about it logically. What's the worst that could happen? How likely is it? And if it does happen, what could you do about it? This method isn't about focusing on the negative. It's about reducing the uncertainties that feed our fear. Remember, fear often stems from not understanding something fully. By tackling it directly in our minds, we start to lessen its control over us. Stoics don't believe in getting rid of emotions, but in understanding and managing them to lead a happier life. Keep this in mind as we go through these strategies. Fear isn't your enemy. It's a kind of signal, and like any signal, we can learn to control it and use it to grow. In the next section, we'll hear from some lesser-known Stoic thinkers and see how their ideas can help us further in overcoming fear. Lesson 2. From the Lost Voices of Stoicism. Moving away from the familiar paths, let's explore some lesser-known aspects of Stoicism beyond well-known figures like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. There were other Stoic philosophers whose ideas are not as famous but are incredibly useful today, especially when it comes to understanding and managing fear. For example, Musonius Rufus, often called the Roman Socrates. Rufus, who was a teacher of Epictetus, believed that philosophy should be practical and help us live better, more virtuous lives. He stressed the value of facing hardships not just as something to endure passively, but as a way to build character. Rufus taught that real courage isn't about not feeling fear, but facing it head-on with resilience and a clear purpose. This idea is key in our talk about fear. It's not about getting rid of fear, but recognizing its role in pushing us toward greater strength and moral resilience. Another lesser-known Stoic, Hierocles, introduced the concept of okiosis, which involves expanding our circle of care beyond ourselves to include family, friends, the community, and eventually all humanity. Hierocles believed that widening our circle of concern can help us conquer personal fears by creating a sense of unity and belonging. When we care about others and feel connected to them, our own fears often seem less overwhelming because of our collective strength and shared goals. These Stoic thinkers give us a wealth of knowledge on how to handle fear. They teach us to see fear not as an individual struggle, but as a common human experience that we can alleviate together through community support and ethical living. This approach isn't just about personal development. It's about growing as a society and collectively overcoming our fears. As we move forward, remember that these ideas aren't just ancient history. They are timeless wisdom that can still guide us today, giving us the tools to deal with the complexities of fear in our lives. Let's take these lessons with us as we see how these ancient philosophies can be adapted to meet today's challenges. Lesson 3. Contrarian Courage. In this chapter, we explore some less common and more challenging ideas of Stoicism. This philosophy isn't just about bearing tough times and keeping emotions in check. it also pushes us to question and reevaluate the usual ways of thinking, including our own deep-seated beliefs and fears. Let's think about the idea of Stoic acceptance. Usually, Stoicism is seen as a way to accept things we can't change. However, a more challenging viewpoint suggests that this acceptance should be active, not passive. It means really engaging with reality and using our challenges with fear as opportunities for personal growth. This idea leads us to ask ourselves, are we accepting our fears because we think they can't be changed, or are we just scared to face and challenge them? Another fresh perspective within Stoicism is about connecting with our emotions. While traditional Stoicism often focuses on controlling emotions, a deeper look suggests we should fully experience our emotions, understand them, and then use this understanding to make positive changes. It's not about pushing fear away, but rather acknowledging it, getting to the root of it, and then using this insight to turn fear into a force that drives us forward. This approach to Stoicism helps us see fear not as something that blocks us, but as something that can spark change and challenge our limits. It's about using the energy from our fears to fuel our personal growth and resilience. By taking this approach, we empower ourselves to not just get through life's challenges, but to actively engage with them. We use our fears as a launchpad to reach higher levels of personal achievement. By embracing these unconventional aspects of Stoicism, we open up a wider range of tactics for handling fear, tactics that are more active, engaging, and ultimately more empowering. This perspective not only helps us confront our fears, but also encourages us to question and reshape them, transforming a once daunting source of worry into a fountain of strength and self-awareness. Lesson 4. The misunderstood virtue. Next, let's dive into the concept of apatheia, which is often misunderstood in Stoic philosophy. Many people think apatheia means not having any emotions, but it's actually about achieving a state of calm and peace by controlling our irrational feelings, like too much fear. It's about finding a balance where emotions are there, but don't overpower our logical thinking. Understanding apatheia is key to overcoming fear. It's not about getting rid of fear completely, but about not letting fear take over our logical thinking. This Stoic idea is all about developing inner calm and clarity, which helps us handle life's uncertainties and fears with a cool, steady approach. With apatheia, we don't push our fears away. We acknowledge them, understand them, and manage them wisely. It's not about stopping our emotions, it's about managing them in a balanced way. This teaches us to see our fears not as enemies, but as normal human reactions that, when handled well, can bring us greater insight and peace. This Stoic principle also helps us maintain our inner peace amid outside chaos, allowing us to face life's challenges, including our fears, in a thoughtful and measured way. By practicing apatheia, we learn to tell the difference between what we can control and what we can't. This understanding helps us focus our energy on how we respond to our fears, instead of trying to control things that are beyond our reach. Mastering apatheia gives us a powerful tool to not just face our fears, but to also change how we react to them, building a sense of inner peace and strength that supports us through life's ups and downs. As we continue exploring Stoic philosophy, remember that your participation is what helps our community grow. If you find these ideas useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. More importantly, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's not only challenge our fears, but also how we deal with them. Your voice matters, both for your own growth and for the strength of our community. Lesson 5. Embracing life's contradictions. As we explore Stoicism more deeply, we discover that this ancient philosophy is full of surprises and contradictions. One of the most fascinating parts of Stoicism is how it embraces life's natural contradictions. This chapter explains how Stoicism's paradoxes can help us better understand and conquer fear. One key paradox is the idea that we gain freedom through discipline. It might seem like having strict self-discipline would restrict our freedom, but Stoics believe the opposite. They think that by controlling our thoughts and reactions, we free ourselves from irrational fears and desires that can trap us. This disciplined way of living helps us see fears not as barriers we can't overcome, but as chances to use our rational thinking and decision-making skills. Another intriguing Stoic paradox is finding strength in acknowledging our vulnerabilities. Stoics say that recognizing and accepting our weaknesses isn't a sign of weakness, but a source of strength. By accepting our fears and vulnerabilities, we open ourselves to growth and learning. This acceptance lets us face fear, not with denial or false bravery, but with real honesty and courage, turning our vulnerabilities into powerful tools for personal growth. This chapter encourages us to see fear and life's challenges in a new light. Instead of using traditional views, we're urged to accept Stoicism's paradoxical ideas. True wisdom often comes from recognizing our limits, real freedom comes from discipline, and strength often comes from our vulnerabilities. By accepting these paradoxes, we gain a deeper and more complex understanding of how to deal with life's uncertainties. This new perspective turns fear from a roadblock into a guide leading us to better self-awareness, resilience, and a more satisfying life. Embracing these contradictions allows us to transform our fears from menacing shadows into guiding lights. Lesson 6: Innovative Resilience. In today's fast-paced and uncertain world, it's important to adapt ancient wisdom to fit our modern lives. This chapter explains how we can use Stoic practices to effectively manage fear in today's digital and professional environments. One key adaptation is digital Stoicism. Our lives are deeply connected with technology, which influences how we feel, especially fear. For example, constantly seeing alarming news can make us feel more fearful. By practicing digital Stoicism, we can be more selective about the information we consume, helping us stay calm and think clearly. Another modern take on Stoicism is applying its principles to work and career challenges. In an unstable job market, focusing on what we can control, like our effort and attitude, rather than outcomes we can't control, can free us from fear and motivate us to act purposefully and resiliently. Additionally, combining Stoicism with modern mindfulness techniques offers a powerful way to manage fear. While mindfulness teaches us to be aware and accept the present moment, Stoic mindfulness involves evaluating things rationally and taking appropriate action. This approach helps us not just recognize our fears, but also think them through and respond logically. These updated Stoic methods give us practical tools to handle today's unique challenges. By integrating these age-old principles into our current lives, we can develop a type of resilience that's innovative, relevant, and truly empowering. By doing this, we not only manage our fears more effectively, but also pave the way for a more balanced and fulfilling life as we navigate this ever-changing world. Lesson 7: The Stoic Rebel. In this section, we dive into the concept of the Stoic Rebel, a mindset that suggests sometimes the best way to really overcome fear is to break away from traditional thinking and create your own approach. This chapter encourages us to tap into a rebellious side of Stoicism, not just facing our fears, but also questioning the usual ways we're taught to handle them. A Stoic rebel challenges the norms, even those within Stoicism itself, finding personal truth in the teachings and tailoring them to their own life. For instance, while Stoicism promotes moderation, a Stoic rebel might stretch this idea to test new grounds for personal growth and discovery. This might include intentionally putting oneself into situations to build resilience and tackle fears that seemed unbeatable before. This approach also means rethinking how we view fear. Usually seen as something to defeat or suppress, the Stoic rebel view sees fear as an essential part of our growth. We start to see fear as a motivator, a teacher, or a partner in our journey to better ourselves. The Stoic rebel doesn't just accept what's taught, but uses it as a base for personal exploration and growth. By embracing this mindset, we enable ourselves not to just follow the paths others have laid out, but to forge our own, using fear not as a barrier, but as a guide to deeper self-understanding and achievement. Embracing the Stoic rebel within us opens up a realm of possibilities where fear doesn't hold us back, but pushes us forward, sparking growth, change, and a personal revolution. This way of thinking isn't just about managing fear, but transforming it into a driving force that leads us toward a life filled with authenticity, bravery, and a relentless quest for personal excellence. Lesson 8. Rising above. In this final part, we'll put everything we've learned into action to steadily overcome fear using Stoic principles. This means applying what we know, not just understanding it theoretically, but making it part of our daily lives. The first step is to start a regular routine of reflection. This could be through writing in a journal, meditating, or just spending some quiet time thinking. This regular check-in helps us keep our thoughts and actions aligned with Stoic teachings. It allows us to notice any recurring patterns in how we handle fear and improve our responses over time. Next, we need to keep learning and adapting. Stoicism is all about growth and facing challenges head-on. Life throws different challenges at us, and it's essential to tweak what we've learned to better fit our personal situations. This might even mean changing some practices or starting new ones that work better for us. It's also important to connect with others who are on this journey. Sharing our experiences, learning from others, and even mentoring can deepen our understanding of Stoicism and enhance its impact. This sense of community not only supports us, but also enriches our perspectives, helping us overcome fears and grow as individuals. Commitment is crucial. Applying Stoic principles takes continuous effort and dedication. Life will have its ups and downs, but the essence of Stoicism is to keep going, using each challenge not as a barrier, but as an opportunity for deeper understanding and peace. By practicing these steps, we don't just temporarily get over our fears, we build a solid base of strength, resilience, and wisdom that stays with us. Stoicism becomes more than a philosophy. It turns into a way of life, guiding us through life's complexities with courage and grace. As we wrap up, remember that following Stoicism is an ongoing journey of self-discovery and mastering fear. Your Stoic path doesn't stop here. It's a daily practice. Take these ideas, try them out in your own life, and watch how they transform you. And remember, you're not alone in this. You're part of a community that values wisdom, bravery, and self-control. Share your experiences, learn from others, and grow together. Use what you learn to move beyond your fears and start living a more liberated and meaningful life. The ability to change and conquer your fears comes from within you, inspired by the enduring wisdom of Stoicism. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help others learn too. Share your thoughts and join the discussion below. Let's build a community that thrives on learning and growing together. Here's to more videos to help you follow the Stoic path. Stay Stoic.